basically, Layla's mad at me.
Yeah, Brian hate fucked me.
I didn't. What's up, Layla?
Hi, Brian.
You look nice, very schoolgirl.
Thank you. I was feeling so cute today.
Detention, huh?
I feel cute. I just want to, I don't know, maybe I should be punished and ruler. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, are you filming something after this? Why don't, what sparked this outfit today?
I actually do have a date after this.
You do have a date after this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With the boyfriend? This
no.
mysterious, no. Okay, so
I'm probably gonna cut all that.
This is so all right. So I'm confused, and I think
Sorry,
people will be confused.
I forgot we were rolling.
No, it's okay. We're rolling. It's honesty, and that's what we're all about here at the Masked Swinger, soon to be the Unmasked project. Is about unmasking things, and something you've been masked up about is that you've been dating someone. So for people who don't know this, who are new to this, obviously you're married.
Yes.
Okay, so number one. But it's been a goal of yours for a year now to have a boyfriend?
I mean, it's been longer. I've been wanting a boyfriend so bad, literally since we started non-monogamy 4 years ago.
And we've gotten close.
Gotten close. Had a couple of people I was excited about, and either I didn't want them as much or they didn't want me as much. It just didn't align. And so it fizzled. And I've just been this single married woman for 4 years.
Okay. And so who's the new guy? What are we calling him?
We're going to call him James.
James.
We're going to call him James because we have Clyde, right? And this is James Dean.
Is Clyde still happening?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, but Clyde's in the back. Clyde's not a boyfriend. Clyde's just
Clyde is a partner. He's a comment partner. Those are my favorite types.
Got it. Comment partner.
Yeah.
This guy's James is not a comment partner, though.
No.
James is an actual boyfriend. You had the, are we boyfriend, girlfriend conversation.
The day I told him that I had feelings for him, I called him my boyfriend.
Oh, so you didn't ask him. You just told him.
Yeah.
And he said,
okay.
Oh man! All right, I feel like
there's gonna be a lot to unpack.
I don't know how this is gonna go, but okay. So how'd you meet him?
Okay, so I started taking singing lessons because I love to sing, and my kids were already taking music lessons at this place. I was already sitting there for an hour, so I was like, I'll take some singing lessons. It was one of my New Year's resolutions was to sing in front of people just one time this year. And so I started taking voice lessons with this guy, and I thought he was really cute. And it was also the first person that ever really heard me sing. So I was really vulnerable with him really quickly. And he saw a very unmasked version of myself that I feel like I had been hiding from everybody. Because I've been a closet artist my whole life, and I haven't been creating. And so I've just never had that outlet. So I started taking voice lessons with him, and we became friends. He was like, oh, do you want to take more lessons at my house?
He said that?
Mm-hmm.
Wait. And what tone of voice did he have when he said that?
He was so professional. He was so professional. He didn't want it to be he was too professional. He wasn't looking at me it was.
So it was a non-sexual thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, because this was before he knew that I was non-monogamous too. He knows I'm married. And so I went to his house. We had music Mondays, and I'd go over to his apartment. And it was an hour. It was a strict hour. And he'd be like, okay, we're going to sing this. And you know me, and I'm into him. So I'm like, oh my gosh, is that your room? It's so nice. It's so cute. And I sit on his bed, and I'm like, we can sing here, And he's like, okay. He's shy. He's a shy guy. I love a shy boy. And so I'm rolling around on the bed, just oh my gosh, what should we sing? What should we do? And he's like, okay, well, and then eventually he was talking about how he did a podcast a long time ago. And I was like, oh, I have a podcast too. And he's like, oh, what's it about? I'm like, sit down.
Because he's about to find out that you're available.
Yeah. And so I told him about the podcast and that we were non-monogamous. And he's like, okay, yeah, okay, no, that's cool. Still very professional. And then he asked me to start singing in his band because they do emo cover songs.
Okay.
And he wanted me to do Paramore, Evanescence, Avril. So started performing with them, and everyone in the band knew that I was in the lifestyle. So I'd come to practice being like, guess what I did this weekend? And I would tell them all these stories, and they're eating it up, but also blush. And they're all very kind of shy guys too.
Okay.
And it was a blast, and it was so fun. And one day we were doing music Mondays at my house. I have a casita. And so we're in the casita, and he's so thoughtful. He knows exactly what kind of sushi I like. So he brought us food, and it was super cute. And I was like, let's not do music. I was like, let's just get to know each other. He's like, okay. And I'm laying on the bed, and he's laying on the other side, and he's talking, and I'm just staring at him, not listening to a word he's saying. And I'm like, you know I'm into you, right? And he was like, I mean, I kind of maybe figured or whatever. And I was like, okay. He's like, as a joke, he's like, do you want to make out? And I jumped on top of him and I went, yes. And he was like, oh, I don't know. I just ate sushi. I need a mint. He got so nervous and so cute and precious. And I was like, yeah, no, take your time. And then he was like, okay, I'm ready. And then we started making out. And
where's your husband at this point?
In the house. I mean, we're in the casita.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're in the little guest
got
casita
it.
thing. So we're just, kissing and kind of getting to know each other. And he was like, I've always been into you, but I always had to be professional. And I've always said, I don't want to hook up with people that aren't in the lifestyle.
You've always said this.
I don't want to hook up with people who are not in the lifestyle. I've learned my lesson. I don't want to have to show the ropes to anybody. Don't you dare look into your camera. I don't want to have to teach someone the ropes of non-monogamy because that's a big responsibility. That takes a lot of time. And I don't know. I just didn't want to do it. And he knew that. And he's like, well, you said that you wouldn't do that. And I'm like, I don't care. You're different. And yeah, that's kind of how we started dating. And we kept our relationship a secret for a couple of weeks. The band didn't know. No one at the music studio knew. And so we're just all over the music studio and band stuff and on stage. And we're pretending like we don't know. We're pretending like we're not in a relationship. So we'd be making out backstage. And then, they're calling us up and we're like, okay, let's go. And it was so hot and so fun. And he would always play the song My Dirty Little Secret. From
All American Reject.
Yes.
Okay.
So we would be on stage doing that and we're singing to each other.
It's not Black History Month, so don't worry about how I know that that's the name of the band.
So yeah, that's how it started. It's been 2 months. It's been really fun.
Oh man, I have so many thoughts. Where do I even start with this? So you have this about yourself. You have a person in authority kink.
Hard.
The reason, part of why I don't know what this person looks like, what James looks like, but I bet what made him attractive was that he was the teacher.
That really adds an element. It really does.
If he was just I don't know, some dude on the street or at the mall, it would be less interesting. The fact
probably.
that he's a teacher and you're not supposed to do it and you're not supposed to do it and no one knows about it probably makes it hot.
Oh, it's so hot. I mean, when you were kind of my boss, I was like, oh my God, hi, and then any boss I've ever had, whether they're attractive or not, I'm like,
Layla still says hi to me like that.
I do sometimes. I'm like, hey, what are you doing?
Okay, boy. But all right. So then what is he like though?
He's so authentically himself. I'm a closet nerd, super dorky, nerdy, video game. I've always just really during lockdown, I would go into chat rooms and play video games with these random people. And those are my favorite people in the whole fucking world because they're just nerdy and they're themselves and they don't give a fuck. I loved his nerdy side. He plays Magic the Gathering and some next level nerd shit. And I live for, he's a Swiftie. So he loves Taylor Swift. And he's just unapologetically this is what I like and this is what I'm passionate about. And I thought that was really, really attractive. He's also really thoughtful. He is always, buying me cute little gifts. I was complaining that my coffee and my mug always gets cold when I'm working. So he bought me a mug warmer and he's just always getting me little gifts. He has a notes, in his notes app, all the things I'll be oh, I really like that. I really like that or whatever. And he'll secretly put it in his notes app. And he knows that snapdragons are my favorite flower. So he'll go out and get me snapdragons. He's just, okay, here's another element.
Tell me, because I'm bursting at the seams over here. What's the other element? He's a virgin, isn't he?
He doesn't have a lot of sexual experience at all, which is fine, honestly. That's almost another kink, whatever. Fuck, that sounds so weird. But he's never been in a relationship before, a serious relationship before. And he doesn't have a lot, if any, real sexual experience. So, which I think is really cute. He had never had sex in a car before, did that. He like never had anal before, did that. He had never been to a sex party, took him.
So are you getting off on the fact that you're showing him new stuff that he doesn't know?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Is that bad? Is that wrong?
You're gonna break him.
No. Okay. No. I want to know. I want to know because everyone's been telling me that. What does that mean?
I mean, okay. Look, okay.
No. I want to unpack
torn.
that question though, because that's important to me. Actually,
I feel torn because I think that I'm happy for you. Like you're super excited and stuff like that, and you're enjoying the newness of it, right? But in my mind, it's like, where's it gonna go? How's it gonna evolve? Because um, at some point, he'll kind of think you do all this stuff with other people too. Like you go to play parties. You've been with how many partners versus how many he's been with, right? And so I would just guess that like any kind of insecurity he has around that, it's just gonna fucking flare up after like 2 months.
I would have thought so too. But I have had other experiences while we've been together, and he doesn't care because, like, the love that we have for each other and the bond that we have is so different than me having a random sexual experience with someone or me going to a party and hooking up with someone. It's not the same caliber of energy,
Yeah.
So that's what he says, and he hasn't shown any jealousy towards like sexual pieces at all. It's if he has had any jealousy, it's more so me giving my time to other people when he misses me and wants to see me more.
Okay. What do you mean?
Like if I haven't seen him in a couple days and I'm not like, "Oh, I'll see you on Thursday," and I'm kind of being wishy-washy about when the next time I'm going to see him is because and that's where I have maybe some difficulty maybe where I feel like maybe I'm going to break him too, which is why I was so triggered when you said that is
Yeah, you're like visibly triggered.
I know.
I don't mean you're gonna break him as a human, like break him psychologically, but I could just like there's gonna be some conflict at some point because there are in all relationships, right?
Mhm.
Um, okay. So when you're not around,
Yeah, he will because I'm his primary, but he's not
yeah,
my primary.
right.
So I have kids and a husband and work and life and hobbies and all these things. And so it has been difficult navigating a full blown relationship because how it started is I explained to him what the intentions were in the relationship of I may see you a couple, once or twice a week. We can send each other good night, good morning texts, send each other memes, whatever. But like that's not what I've been doing though. I've been seeing him every day because I want to see him every day. So eventually it's going to
Right.
have to backtrack.
Eventually when you back off, right?
Right.
Yeah, are you love bombing him right now?
Oh my God, am I love bombing him? What does love bomb mean exactly?
I don't know the definition. Can we look up what love bombing means? He's already like our producer's already on it. I don't know the definition of love bombing, but I do think it's guys often get accused of doing this with girls often when you come in super super hot and you get excited about the feelings and the emotions. It's a newness to it. I like this person, they like me, and then you start showering them with a bunch of love and attention and gifts that you can't maintain. All right, love bombing, the action of or practice of lavishing someone with attention or affection, especially in order to influence or manipulate them. All right,
Mm,
I don't think that you're manipulating them though, because I don't know if people always talk about love bombing in a way that I'm trying to control you
mhm,
or get you to do something, but I could be unaware that I'm doing it, right? So
mhm,
I get really excited and I think it's my person, and so I jump on it immediately. Excessive flattery and praise, over communication of their feelings for you, showering you with unneeded, unwanted gifts, early and intense talks about your future together.
mm.
Um, but then eventually what happens is, oh, see this, the discard phase. There's a phase where like it changes, where you know,
Read
I
it.
was talking about, okay, so once you've let your guard down and get comfortable in the relationship, red flags start to appear. Your partner may try to exert control over you in a variety of ways. This doesn't sound like you.
No.
I don't think you would ever do this to him. I don't think you're going to break him in this way.
Mm,
But I think what it had in common with me and why I thought about it was because there's an intensity at the
mhm.
beginning, and then you know it's going to trail off. And then what's going to happen when it trails off?
Right. Right.
What do you think's going to happen when it trails off?
Mm. I imagine because
I feel like I'm downing you. My biggest
No, no,
concern,
no, this
actually,
is good.
I
I need to
love
talk
you're
to you about
excited about
this.
it.
I've been waiting for this conversation with you because you're so good at helping me with
I'd
stuff.
actually like my biggest concern actually is that he hasn't been in relationships before. If he had been in a bunch of relationships and he's used to like the intensity and then it trailing off, I'd actually be like, oh, this sounds awesome. I'm kind of scared a little bit because you're his first girlfriend in how long?
Since like high school,
How old is he?
32.
Shit. You're his first girlfriend in, wait, 14 years?
Yeah. Ah,
That's
I
crazy.
know. And I don't think I like truly understood the nature of all that until we were in the relationship and I got to know him more. And I was just like, oh, this is actually kind of a big responsibility. I feel like I've taken on, which I'm happy to do, but other things have fallen to the wayside, you know, like you and the other podcast team are like, hello, Layla, are you there? Like we need A, B, and C, right? Or other work, or my husband is like, hey, like can we spend some time together? Or things have fallen to the wayside. So I am going to eventually have to reel it back and kind of redefine what the relationship looks like. But I imagine that's probably going to be really difficult for him to hear. So do you have any advice on how to do that?
Well, what's so funny, and I don't have any advice for you. I think that, well, one, while I was listening to you right now, I was like, wait, this could be an awesome opportunity, though, right? I think it's an opportunity for you and an opportunity for him to figure out what healthy looks like because I know you want a boyfriend that's not just like Clyde's great, right? But like Clyde's married with kids, like you're always going to be second. I guess you're both secondary, but the point is you got a lot of stuff going on,
Mm-hmm.
and it is kind of nice to have someone that's just kind of there when
It's
you need them,
light, it's more
right?
casual, right?
And whenever you say like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's gonna come right over. So
Mm-hmm.
it is. I get why that will be appealing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an opportunity there. I just want to. It's less like you. I want to support him. Like how do I support him
I know.
through what's about to happen?
I know.
He's so your type.
What I know you it's so funny because you were asking me earlier or like a long time ago what my type was. And I was like, I don't have a type. And you were like, you have three types. A,
Yeah.
this, B. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah. All right. So for y'all don't know that there was a text thread where actually someone on someone commented on Instagram
mm-hmm,
and they asked what your type was because we were trying to find people to go on blind dates with you, right?
mm-hmm.
And then you're like, I don't have a type. I was like, yeah, you do. You have multiple, and you hated. Oh, I'm gonna read it.
Read it.
I'm
Go
gonna
for
read it for
it.
people, and then we'll put it up on the screen so people can see what Layla's types are. I'm gonna read the text as it lies. Okay. So
Okay.
Layla says I don't have a type. And then I said you have multiple. And I was like, I'll let Annie chime in also. But I would say type one, guys that look like they're in a band, manage a band, are friends with the band.
He's in a band.
He is in a band. That's actually not the type I think he is though, right?
Uh-huh.
Type two, surfer boy chic, right? Can overlap with type one, but not always. So if you're a surfer boy chic and in a band, you hit 2 out of 3 of these. So you're in really good shape. Type three, I wrote this is the longest one because I didn't want to shit on people when I said this,
Mm-hmm.
but I called it diamonds in the rough. Innocent, slightly awkward guys who tend to carry a naivety into what's really going on around here. So they're not the guys all the other girls are after, but Layla knows better. She can spot an appreciating asset.
Well, yeah, and that was before I was dating James, and I think I would categorize him as 1 and 3.
He is type 1 and type 3.
Mm-hmm.
So would you agree you have types now?
Well, I fucking apparently I
Because
guess-
Clyde's in the band. Clyde's in the band. Your husband is surfer boy chic, and James is diamond in the rough and in a band with
yeah.
other diamonds in the rough. Is the band called Diamonds in the Rough?
No. No, but that's a great.
It's called Settlers of Catan, isn't it?
I'm also really good at that game. I won the last
I'm
one.
sure you are. I'm sure you are because you're a nerd. But so he's not. So my guess is he's probably not hot in you really like him, but like in all the traditional ways.
Perhaps, like, I find him so fucking sexy and so
Right.
great, and he doesn't see himself like that, right? I think he lacks the confidence in that area as a lot of us do, I'm sure, right? He but when we were friends, I'm like, "Oh," he'd be like, "Oh, I really like this girl that comes to our shows." I'm like, "Oh, like, have you talked to her?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "You should get her info." He's like, "Oh, no." I was like, "Why not?" He's like, she wouldn't be into me." And I'm
And he
like,
just assumes that.
"Yeah."
See, okay, so I think that's what I'm saying. I think the opportunity here is he's gonna date you, and then regardless of how it goes, and then he's gonna have this confidence that he can go after the hot girls that show up at the show.
And that's what he said, which has also made me feel really good. He has said that dating me has given him this confidence that he never had before. And we'll be, out and about at our shows. And we have this thing where, because I sing in like, I don't know, a quarter of the songs, right? And then I'm out in the audience and I'm scoping. And so he has a thing where if he's playing his guitar and he goes like into the audience a little bit and hands a girl his pick and they play the guitar, that means I am going to go talk to her for us.
You are?
Yeah, I'm going to wingman her.
Wait, have you had a threesome with him?
At parties, but not at a party yet. But we've gotten girls' information.
Whoa, you're confusing me. You've planted seeds.
We have planted seeds.
Because he's down to try.
Right, with the girls that come to our shows.
What a lucky guy. James, you have no... you just like gave lessons to the right one. Like you did nothing to earn the situation you're in right now. You just... you lucked out. You grabbed the bull by the horns, bro, and just ride it.
But I lucked out too. I really have. I feel so honored because he's never loved someone before. And we did tell each other we loved each other after dating for like 2 weeks. So it's actually kind of a cute story. I was at his house and just hanging out, whatever. And we're eating like Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell French fries. And he was saying that inevitably, like when he does tell the people, he doesn't want to tell the people that are closest to him until he knows if he like loves me or not. Like once it gets more serious and we say I love you to each other, then he will tell the people that are closest to him.
Okay.
And I could see him start to freak out that he said that, right? Because he was thinking like, oh gosh, because he's very in his head. And he's like, oh God, she's gonna take this too seriously. So he's like, oh wait, but I mean, whenever that may be, I don't know. And I could see him start to spiral. And I did not want him to spiral. So with a mouth full of Taco Bell French fries, I was like, whatever, I love you now, so.
Hold on, pause. Taco Bell sells French fries?
Yeah. We could talk about the remainder of this episode. We could talk about that because I love Taco Bell French fries.
I had no idea. Like my life goal is to get you off Taco Bell.
No.
And this episode is not sponsored by Taco Bell, but it should be. All right, so all right. I'm excited I'm excited for you. I'm excited for him. I am going to be, I don't know, conservatively, bullish on it. I think it can go somewhere if we can get past the 3-month mark. Like when you back off, if he doesn't get all kind of weird, it also sounds like he's about to tell his friends about it.
Yeah.
So I do wonder how his friends, and I think you said family.
Just people closest to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check in about this. But you found a type 1 and type 3.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and I love him a lot, and I'm excited about him, and our chemistry on stage is like intoxicating. Like I feel like I'm living in a movie.
Yeah. How's your husband doing with it? Is he excited?
Yeah. No, he's very excited because I've been saying forever I just want someone that I really care about like this.
Yeah.
So he's excited, and also he's kind of realized lately because of this that he's kind of a cuck. And he didn't know that before. So I would be hooking up with James and then come home and he's like, he wants to know about it. And then he's getting off on me hooking up with someone that I love.
But is it like a taking back? Does he take you back?
Yeah, a little bit of that reclamation.
Are you having more sex with your husband now? Right now?
Yeah, probably, but for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
James has taught me just as much as I've taught him.
Interesting.
I've taught him a lot of sexual things, and he has taught me, like, I've never really loving sex. That wasn't ever something, I never understood sex for connection. I thought of sex more as like a sport or like, do you want to go play tennis? And I'm like, I don't feel like it. Honestly, I never saw sex as a connection thing.
Now you're like making love?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't like, and he was like, I want to try something.
You weren't making love to your husband?
No. It wasn't my thing. I just didn't think and I told my husband that, and he's like, okay. And it was in therapy a while ago where the therapist like helped us realize that I don't have sex for connection, and it really bummed my husband out. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I wish I could tell you something different. That's just me being honest. And it wasn't until I was with James where he's like, I want to try something. And while we were having sex, we were telling each other like, I love you. and like looking into each other's eyes. And I felt like I saw like a little James inside of him that I'm not good at seeing little husband, you know, like the little boy inside of him. I'm not good at seeing that.
Why not?
I think because I put my husband on a pedestal, and I think that I am always trying to like kind of cater to him or impress him, but sometimes he wants to do the same to me. Like he wants like little husband wants to be loved too.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'm so stuck in what little Layla is thinking and doing that I'm not even thinking about the other person's little person, right?
Got it.
And so with James, I learned how to have loving sex, and it was really crazy how it happened. And now I've been able to apply that with my husband. Something clicked in me, and I went, oh, that's what sex means for connection. I didn't know that.
Okay, this is random. Are you kind of fulfilling like a mom, like guidance role with James? Because like when you describe like little, you just said like little
Mhm.
James, like he's a kid,
Mhm.
and then you're the mother kind of guiding him through stuff. You've talked because when we talked about BDSM stuff before, we
Mhm.
talked about how like part of like the power dynamic, and you want to explore your dom side
Mhm.
is the mother like
Mhm.
persona. And I'm just curious if that at all is landing right now or activating at all in you, where like you can't
Possibly.
see it at home with your husband because that's
Yeah.
not the dynamic at all.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. I just think I hate the term like mother for anything sexually. So I hate the term, but
Of course,
the
because
the
you're a
message,
brat.
the
Hmm.
message, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, where I I see him, not just the guy that's on stage, not just my music teacher. I see him unmasked, right? I
Yeah.
see little James inside of him. I see the true him, and he sees the true me,
Mhm.
which is a lot of that is like that little Layla, that vulnerable, and that I want people to like me and I want to feel loved and all these things. So I can be completely myself with him, all these things. So I guess perhaps maybe it's kind of like a mothering kind of thing. Cause there's been multiple times where he'll be in his head and I'm like, I see you and you're okay. You're thinking too much and I love you, and take a deep breath. So I guess that is kind of mothering.
I love how you just talked yourself into it.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. It just when you were talking, I was like, that is interesting.
Yeah.
There's a power dynamic here that is interesting.
A little bit, but also he can be kind of like a daddy.
Oh, for sure. He can be a daddy to you.
Mhm. Which is also very interesting and not something I was expecting at all because he's a shy guy. But he can like he tops me pretty good. And we'll be out somewhere and he'll push me against a wall and make out with me and grope me and then just be like, all right, let's go. And I'm like,
That's so funny. You're such a all right, so would you
what?
define what's your sexuality? What would you define yourself as right now?
Pansexual?
Pansexual?
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yes, I do.
I like to
But
fuck pans.
I've heard you say different things at different times though, right? I've
Hmm.
heard you say
Oh,
demisexual,
demisexual and pansexual. So like pansexual means anyone, everyone, I don't care what your gender identity is.
right?
I think I'm becoming more demisexual, which is funny because when I first realized that, I was like, fuck, I don't want to be demisexual because I want to go to parties and just like feel fulfilled fucking a bunch of random people like I used to. But I don't, that's not me anymore. I really want to have like a genuine connection with somebody. And I think now that something has clicked in me about how sex is connection, I think sex for me is very different than it was a couple weeks ago when that happened. So we'll see how I do at parties
I
now.
know. I'm really curious. So now you're saying like you're it's more about connection and like the love making aspect of it for you than it is
Well,
going to be like just the getting down.
like I've always had sex with my friends, and I think that that's fun again because I kind of saw it as like let's go play tennis. You know, like it's fun. Let's make each other feel good. But I think there's particular people that I've have in a category that I value and I love so much. I almost feel like I am kind of friend zoning them a little bit because I don't want to have sex with them and feel that connection and then be like, oh shit, do I like have feelings for them? Do that, you know, like I don't know. Does any of that make sense?
No.
No.
No, but I think what is actually landing for me is like if the next time we hang out, if we hang out in that way, I'm gonna ask you what you want, because it does feel different at different times, like depending on what you're going through. It's so funny. I wish I had this montage of you. Uh, this montage of the pod. I bet I can make this. I'm gonna talk to Annie about it. That is grabbing moments where you say you don't like pain,
Mhm.
but then you'll say stuff like, "But then, yeah, just push me against the wall." And it's
Mhm.
like, I was like, "Wait a minute." But
Mhm.
what is that? It's like, okay, you don't actually like pain,
Mhm.
but you like the discomfort that comes
I
with
like the
someone you trust.
dominance.
Right.
Right, and if I'm in subspace, then p bring it on, but if I'm not in subspace, you know, don't slap me in the face
Right.
or spit it in my mouth or
She's totally speaking, uh, like
You wanna
hypothetically, you
you wanna
guys.
talk about it?
Well, I basically Layla's mad at me because
'Cause
she felt that I was a little rough with her last time,
yeah, Brian
which
hate fucked me.
I didn't. I don't hate her, and I did not hate fuck her, but I acknowledge that that's how you feel,
Mhm,
and I don't wanna gaslight you or take away how you feel,
mhm,
but you felt like it got a little aggressive,
mhm.
right?
But I told you, right? Like and that's something else that
Mhm.
James has taught me is radical honesty
Uh-huh.
because I want to continue my relationship with him so much that if he does something, very quickly I'm like, "I don't like that," whether
Mhm.
it's sexual or beyond that. And so I was able to go to you and say, like, "I love you enough, Brian, to say I didn't like that."
Mhm.
And I feel like you received it so well, which also made me feel really loved. We were like, "Thank you for telling me that, and I apologize." And so I think if anything, it probably made our friendship even stronger to have those types of difficult conversations with each other.
It did. I was just surprised to hear it because it was like this was 3 months ago.
Mhm,
So it's been a while, right? I would have
mhm,
thought if like usually if I do something weird, someone will tell me immediately.
mhm,
And so one for me, I was like, man, that's interesting that it came up so long later. It was interesting to me the timing that it came up too.
mhm,
Cause I was like, in the moment, you seemed fine. In the moment, it seemed like you had fun.
mhm.
Which I actually think you did. I don't think you didn't have a
Yeah, I
great
had a good
time.
time.
Um, but to be fair, but I was also like, you know what? At that point in the night, there was so much other stuff going on that it
Mhm.
was like I don't think that we had a conversation at all, right? And so I
Right.
think like in a at the beginning of the night before I have like a few drinks in me, I probably would have been like, hey, what do you want?
Mhm. And there was a lot of people. It was technically a play party for your birthday, right? So it there wasn't a lot, and we're so close that we're like, "Oh, cool, we can do whatever we want," and like it's casual, it's cool. And I might have just like never said anything to you about that ever, and just been like, "I hope he doesn't do that again." But like, fuck that. You know, like I don't want to have any sort of negative feelings towards you or our sexual escapades, you know?
You know what's so funny is I didn't even think it was that rough. But
See,
yeah,
no, and it
but
wasn't.
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't
But you do but I
I
have said it before on the podcast, I don't like to be slapped in the face and I don't like
yeah,
spit
I
in my
did do
mouth.
that. I did do that. I didn't spit in your
You
mouth
spit
though,
in my
no?
mouth.
Oh, my bad. So, you know,
But a lot of girls like that, and a lot of girls that you hook up with like that, and they like it rough. Your wife likes it rough. I could name all the people that like it rough, and unless I'm with my dom, I don't really like it. Spank me all you want, but I'm in fight or flight, remember?
that's what that's what I got kinda that's what I must have gotten caught up when I was caught up in. I was like, I was having fun that night, and the people who were there generally do lean towards that direction.
Mhm.
And so I really didn't think about it. So like I said, my bad.
Well,
Easy adjustment. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me.
I have a question for you, and we can cut all this too. Does because I have sex with my friends, right? And you have sex with your friends. You and I, we're really close, right? Like you're one of my closest friends that knows so much about my life. Does it feel different? And again, we can cut all this. To be honest, does it feel different having sex with me than it does like other friends from parties? Because we're so close.
Do you want it to feel different?
Shut up. Just tell me your answer. Fucking
That
just.
was does it feel different? I mean, there is a how do I answer this? There's a core group of friends that I feel really, really safe with. Like, I think that big events can feel really they can be really anxiety driving, right? Because there's a bunch of strangers, you don't know who they are, like it's a new environment and things like that. And so I have people where I feel safe, right? And I would definitely put you in that category of people that I feel safe with where um like if the party was starting out, or if I had to choose between you and a new person, I would just like hang out with you.
Mhm.
I would play with you. So I would say there's definitely that aspect of it. Now I would also like with my friends, I like kind of I would say I do watch out for the safety of my friends a little bit more than like a stranger.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't say that I feel like I look, the best thing about us is that like we come and do the shows and we like hold up our boundaries. We don't do anything,
Right.
right? So I don't want it to seem like, oh, we were like googly eye for each other all the
No, no,
time
no,
because
it's
that's
not
not what
like
it
that.
is.
But we
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
different type of bond. Like, I almost, there have been times where I'm like, I don't like it's almost like a different type of like further away comet partnership, right? Where like we have a close bond and a close relationship. And then like we've only had sex, what, 4 times?
Uh-huh.
Which isn't a lot.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like each time when it's happening, I'm like, I'm having sex with Brian right now. That's crazy. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like a special occasion. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, which is kind of
Uh-huh.
cool too.
Yeah, 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 it is. Let's adjust this a little bit. All right. Here's a way I'll answer the question. When you called me and you said that I had done something that kind of hurt your feelings, it made me feel really sad
Mm,
because I think that like we're all going to push boundaries and things like that, and I try to be um aware of it, but like I usually am pretty locked in on like the people that I care about the most and like what they want and what they don't want, which I think is why like at a lot of at the parties there's certain people that will like always come hang out with me because they already know what it is, know what to expect, and they feel safe. And so that moment I was like, well, here's somebody really close to me, and in that moment I didn't make them feel safe.
mm,
um and so yeah, I felt bad about it in a way that I wouldn't feel bad,
mhm,
as bad with like someone where it's just like a misunderstanding. Like I shouldn't have misunderstood it that way
mm.
because I know you better. And I usually and I keep like a mental log of certain people that I care about a lot. So, um, so like that's my bad. I never want you to feel that way. Um,
Well, thank you for allowing me to like communicate that with you safely, And I think because I'm still practicing radical honesty. So I felt safe to be able to practice that with you, you know?
yeah. hmm And it's tough. And I'll say this, like it is tough as like the guy in the room where, um, not like we're dom. Like a lot of people say they're doms and they're not, right?
Mm,
You're just a top. But for those of us where people kind of expect some level of like dom energy from, which I would put myself in that category. Like when people play with me, they do expect some level of like, you know, aggression. It's kind of tough to live up to that sometimes because
mm,
I don't always want to go there,
mm.
right? Um,
Where
eh,
would you like to go more?
I think that like, man, I don't know if there's like another place I want to go. It's just sometimes it's a lot of energy, right? Like remember when Mistress Tasmia was on the show and she was talking about like the energy exchange of a dom and how the next day there was like a dom collapse. Sometimes I feel like my body's kind of wrecked the next day from like the amount of energy I'm expected to drive, and then I don't want to give less to you know anyone than I gave to the last person, right?
Mm,
Um, and so I think that is like the performance of it. Like I used to work out, and then I used to work out when I did Hard 75. I don't know if you remember this.
mhm,
And like as part of Hard 75, you have to work out twice a day, right? So I would work out in the morning, then I would work out mid afternoon, and then we'd go to a party. And Sunday, I was like fucking wrecked, dude. I was like, I would burn like 4,000 calories or something that day. And I was like, man, this is actually a workout. Why am I working so hard? And then I don't think everyone's working as hard as me. And so I'm just saying, like, some nights, like, even guys like that, I think, want to be on the receiving end of it.
mm. Like you would want a girl to kind of top you, or you would like to have different kind of sex that maybe is a little bit slower, or a little bit more mindful and intentional?
Yeah, I would say probably a little slower and more mindful
Mm.
and intentional.
Do you ever have sex like that at parties?
Yeah, with the people who I know like that.
Mm. So when you find people that are like that, does that excite
How
you?
did this episode totally flip on me? It's so funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like there's someone in my mind right now where it's like that is what she prefers, and like that's part of what I love about her. Like
Mm.
it's not like she's a break or it's easier, but yeah, I do enjoy that. And then it's actually part of why like um there's some people that are like pillow princesses. Do you know what a pillow
Yeah.
princess is?
Mhm.
Can you define it real fast?
Yeah,
Pillow
when
princess?
someone just kinda, like, receives it, they're just kinda laying there, receiving it, not really it's not really a power exchange or an energy exchange. It's just you're putting all your energy into her.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not really into it.
No.
There's no exchange there. That's a lot of work on me. And then in that, I feel like the performance on whether it's like good sex or not is all about my performance.
Mm.
You know?
Are you when you're having I know this is turning into you, I'm so sorry. We can go back to notes. I just have one more question. Um, when you are having sex with people, are you more so thinking about them and their pleasure, or do you ever stop to think about your pleasure?
You know, that's a great question. That is a great I'm like looking at our honestly, I I'm always having fun. Like I'm always enjoying it. So I'm not but I'm not thinking about like getting off. I'm not thinking about finishing. Um
It's
I
not about
I
finishing.
also think part of the issue is like uh there's a barrier for me. Like the condom actually impacts a lot, right? It would be a lot more fun if I didn't have to wear it and I would probably think about my pleasure more if I didn't wear it. But in my mind like it's that barrier is already there. I'm not so the pleasure I want to have I'm not going to have anyway.
Mm,
Right. So it's an interesting place where my head goes. I think I'm generally exchanging energy, having fun. I wouldn't say I'm specifically thinking about my own pleasure in that moment, but
mm.
I'm not having fun. Right.
No, that wasn't
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
question is if you were
Yeah.
having fun or not, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you maybe considered going to a party with the mindset of like, I'm gonna go in for my pleasure?
No,
No?
not that
All right,
stuff.
cool.
Because because that feels really self-centered to me. Like
Wait, I
I'm
love
drinking my hop water. Give me a second.
because I love that. And I had that experience with Mo, right? With Mo Vibes, who was on the show, where he, was kind of directing this scene, right, with me and this
Yeah.
other girl.
Yeah.
And I covered his eyes. I found a shirt and I covered his eyes and I said, "You're going to lay there and you're just going to feel the sensations. And that's what you're going to do." And he
Yeah.
did. And it was actually a really emotional moment for him afterwards. And we like
Yeah.
sat and cuddled after and it was like a big deal to him. And I just don't think enough men are doing that.
Yeah, the last time I would say I went into something and I was like, "I'm gonna have fun because I wanna have fun for me," was my birthday, and look
Mm.
what I did.
And then you beat the shit out of me.
So maybe I shouldn't do this.
No,
But
you
see, this is part of the reason why I'm saying we're gonna bring on a relationship coach
I
to,
know we
like
need to.
to dive into this stuff with us.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, we can go back to your notes. I'm
no,
sorry.
it's fine, it's fine. What do you think's next for you with the new guy, with James?
Um, I think eventually I'm gonna have to have a difficult conversation with him about having to reel it back so I can have more time for the things that are important to me. I have to find a way like to present that to him because I think it's gonna be really hard for him again because I am kind of his first relationship and it's been hot and heavy. I imagine that's gonna be difficult to reel back without like hurting his feelings. It's not that I don't want to see him and that I don't want to spend time with him. I always do, but I have to create some boundaries and I'm not looking forward to that.
I know we're gonna follow up about this. Like, I'm for sure we're gonna follow up about this because I think it's gonna develop. I think it's gonna develop pretty quickly too, which is great. Like, you're gonna find out exactly where it is, and
Yeah.
then if it gets, I think if it gets through the first like month or two, you can be in like a really solid place
Yeah.
because it sounds like it's working for you, working for James, working for your husband,
Mhm.
right? And I think you've wanted something where it works for everybody.
Mhm.
So there you go. I also kind of like that. Like, you're in the past, your husband was often finding partners and you were watching him go through it. And now it's on the other side and he's learning stuff about him. So
Yeah.
it's himself. So in terms of growth for everybody, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
We're all growing a lot.
I'm excited. All right, we're gonna circle back to this.
Circle back.
The other thing we have to circle back on is I've talked about starting taking peptides for a while.
Yes.
And I started taking them. So we'll have to check in about that. I've
Okay.
been on it for a week. Super weird process. I don't think I can talk about the actual act of like, mixing it and putting it in because that would involve me talking about needles and I don't know if that's allowed
Yeah,
on
whatever.
Insta, but
I'll censor it.
we'll save that for later.
Okay.
But I would say the first week has been interesting because I don't it's energy wise, my energy's a little off.
Mm.
I will say that. I will say that. So we'll talk about it more later because I want to be like, oh, like I'm 3 weeks in, and here's what I'm noticing. I always felt the first week of doing anything new to your body is going to feel a little different.
Mhm.
So it feels different. We'll circle back about it.
Circle back.
Yeah, we're going to circle back about it. We're gonna come back to this.
It's his favorite thing.
Yeah,
You should
whatever.
hear him in
Get
meetings. We'll
off me.
circle back, team. We also have to talk. I
Yeah.
don't know if this is in your notes. Sorry, we can talk about it later. But I need to know what the fuck happened in Brazil.
We'll talk about Brazil.
I've been dying.
And then
He
stuff
hasn't been telling me.
you don't. Oh man, that's for another. We'll on the next episode.
We'll circle
talk
back, you
about
guys.
it. I didn't even say that. I said we're gonna talk about it. I didn't even rant. Oh, we didn't even do our rants.
Oh shit. Okay, I can add that in real quick.
Okay.
That's
Do you know
easy.
what your rant's gonna be for this one?
I think it's annoying when men primarily are shitting on me or other girls for wearing baggy clothes. For wearing baggy clothes or wearing clothes that isn't sexy or isn't form-fitting, or maybe we didn't do our makeup that day. And so when hot girls are wearing, like baggy clothes or whatever, sometimes I don't want to be gawked at. Sometimes I just want to kind of like hide and wear my hat and just go to the grocery store without being looked at. Cause I can put out, when I'm wearing something that I feel sexy, and I can put out an energy intentionally of being like, yeah, like I'm hot shit and people are looking and that's cool and I love that. But sometimes I just don't. I just want to be cute and just wear my baggy clothes and and do that. And I have had people, friends of mine talk to me like Brian, to be like, why are you wearing sexy clothes? Why are you hiding how hot you are and hiding your body? And I'm like, because I'm not trying to get gawked at today. I just want to be cute and boyish and wear my tomboy clothes and just like do that. So that's it. That was a dumb rant. Sorry.
No, it's actually good. You do not know how to dress. It's like really fun. Like on the show you do, but people don't know. All right, let me do a rant real fast. This is my second rant in my Uber and Lyft series because I've been so irritated by Uber and Lyft drivers, okay? And I'm taking away stars when you do this. When you pick me up, your trunk should be empty. At most, a bottle of water or a first aid kit. The other day, a guy picked me up. He had like 3 packs of water. He had his gym bag. He had his own suitcase in there and a spare tire. Where's my luggage gonna go? You're picking me up from the airport, and you're lucky I'm by myself. What if I was with my family? Where's our stuff gonna go? One time I had to put my suitcase in the front seat, you guys, in the front seat of the car.
Unforgivable.
You know what was in the back? Soccer balls. Leave the soccer balls at home. If next time an Uber driver picks me up and there's nowhere for my stuff to go in the trunk, 4 stars.
Just 4. You're gonna lose a star, bitches.
I'm taking them away, guys.
Yeah, Brian's on a fucking Uber rampage.
The next one's the best one. That is it for this episode. This is the last episode of the Masked Swingers because obviously we're not wearing masks anymore. So thanks for tuning in today. We are rebranding to the Unmasked Project, but it'll be the same fun. Me and Layla plus our guests. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you love this content. And until we see you next time, try something or try someone new.